Thank you. Professor Michael I. The National 15 Five-Year Plan specifically supports Hong Kong's development into an international INT center and an international hub for high-caliber talents, but we often neglect the diversity of talents. In fact, high-quality vocat talents can really help promote commercialization and transformation of R&D outcomes. We need a large quantity of high-end skilled professionals that can control precision equipment. I have all along been advocating for integrated development of education, technology, talent, and finance. Without quality education, we would not have good research, and without applied talent, we will not be able to commercialize R&D outcomes, and without financing, education and research cannot be sustainable, which is why we need to have in mind a macro mindset of integrated development of education, technology, talent, and finance. We can develop in the following directions. The VTC will launch an AI strategy this year, and we should have the VTC explore different areas of new quality productive forces. In fact, we should have the VTC continuously enhance curricula to have courses in emerging technologies such as new energy, vehicle repairs, and we should have the council work with GBA institutions. We need to make sure we provide adequate recognition of the students so that they understand they can also make contributions to society and they are respected. We need to make sure to have support of funds to create impetus of transformation of R&D outcomes. The government should set up a dedicated matching fund to provide concessionary financing and facilitate investors in investing in applied projects so that funds will not only flow to labs but to flow through the cycle of talent, creations, technology, and finance. We now have the GBA mutual recognition mechanism applicable to several areas such as construction. We should try to strive for further expanding of the scope of mutual recognition to cover frontier areas such as smart manufacturing so that local technicians can receive recognition in different parts of the Greater Bay Area. We should refer to international standards in formulating our assessment standards. We need to develop international development space for VPAT talent so that we can help them go global. The government should provide attractive tax concessions so that enterprise expenditure on in-service training can receive tax deductions. There should be a certain area earmarked for apprenticeship workshops so that we can have startups or advanced manufacturing enterprises engage a certain number of graduates as apprentices. This is a form of enterprise responsibility. It also ensures long-term competitiveness of the industries of Hong Kong. We need VPAT talents for the very last mile of transformation of R&D outcomes. To develop Hong Kong as an international INT center, we need to make sure to take forward things in this direction. I certainly speaking in support of Mr. Jimmy Ng's motion. Mr. Yu Pak Leung. VPAT is an indispensable component in the local education system. As we see development in INT industries, AI, high-end manufacturing, we have a greater demand of composite talents. According to the 2023 manpower projections, by 2028, we will have a manpower gap as high as 180,000, and we have 1/3 of them being of skilled workers. I very much agree with what is said in the original motion that we need more internationalized, vocational, and professional talents. And under the leadership of various academics, including the principal of the Metropolitan University, an association has been set up to promote VPAT. The government has also been working hard to promote VPAT and reverse the relevant stereotype and establish universities of applied sciences. But to further promote VPAT, there are some pain points to address. We need to first reverse the stereotype of society against VPAT. According to a university survey last year, many of the students still think when students with poor results have no choice but to go with VPAT, and 60% of the respondents never even heard of universities of applied sciences. So the stereotypes are deep-rooted. The government would first have to reshape these values. On the junior secondary level, the government needs to have systematic life planning to introduce students to VPAT and its prospects. Through different curricula, we should cultivate interests of students in VPAT to provide other choices for students with specific talents. We also need to promote integration of the industry and the institutions. We have tourism industries and hotels and other chambers of commerce providing job opportunities to institutions. It is a win-win because it also benefits enterprises in trying to attract talents early on. But such collaboration is voluntary in nature right now. We need to incentivize the enterprises to have in-depth collaboration with VPAT institutions to create a win-win for all. I think we can refer to the experiences in the mainland and Singapore. We can refer specifically to the model of Singapore where they have actual work simulations in institutions and their teams of teachers would have both teaching and industrial experience. Tax concessions can also be provided to participating enterprises. We should also have unified apprentice training standards. Students can go to enterprises and they can receive paid training and even being internationally recognized in the process. The government must take the lead in breaking the barrier between the academia and the industry. I think for graduates that have completed VPAT diplomas, once they have passed certain assessments and accumulated certain work hours, they can apply for undergraduate level programs, or they can be recognized as such. With these measures, we can have a career ladder and people will not feel boxed in because of the fact that they have different starting points. President, I so submit speaking in support of the motion and the amendments. Mr. Ray Wong. President, I thank Mr. Jimmy NG for proposing the motion. The motion is closely connected with the National 15 5-year plan support for Hong Kong to become an international hub for high caliber talents, as well as dovetailing with the government's policy in economic transformation and new industrialization. As a representative of the industrial sector in Hong Kong, I would like to say there are many SMEs in Hong Kong, and many of them are at the critical juncture of undergoing digital transformation. They are procuring smart equipment and they're making use of internet systems. They have a serious manpower gap. According to the latest manpower projections of the government and related data from the VTC, by 2028, we will have a manpower gap of 18,000 to 23,000 for the development of an international INT hub. We have thousands in shortage in technical talents and skilled workers. I would like to make 4 suggestions. 1, we need to nurture professional digital blue-collar workers that are apt in AI. Often VPAD are backup options for students, but then we can take a new positioning and nurture digital blue-collar workers and apply technology experts. We need to change people's impression of VPAD and make sure to coordinate the UASs and top-notch enterprises to have more cross-disciplinary programs for Industry 4.0, smart logistics, and other areas. We should also refer to the experience in the mainland where institutions would work with enterprises. The government should provide internship allowances so that students can enter enterprises and work as potential workers, potential employees of the future. We should continuously reform the qualifications framework and recognition system. The administration should expedite mutual recognition of associate and higher diploma programs. We should make sure we have clear career pathways and professional development to break the existing stereotypes so that youngsters will see that there are bright prospects in the industrial sector. We should enhance the role of VTC as a hub for collaboration between different sectors. The government should take the lead in convening meetings between the FHKI and the other parties in reviewing curricula, and I urge the government to regularize relevant funding schemes and enhance the tuition fee cap for specific programs so that we have tailor-made courses for small and medium-sized manufacturing enterprises. We should make sure to make good use of our connectivity and research strengths. With our lack of large-scale manufacturing bases, the VTC should work with Shenzhen Polytechnic University to promote one-test multiple certification arrangements so that graduates can work conveniently in the Greater Bay Area. We also should allow graduates to take part-time courses when they're working full-time and extend the relevant visas by at least 4 years. We should make sure also to target specific strategic enterprises such as healthcare technology and advanced manufacturing, and we should nurture technical talents that conform to international standards so as to help them go global. Talents are very important, and we must internationalize VPAD to dovetail with the 15th five-year plan. I so submit.
Mr. Jonathan Leung. We need to build ourselves into an international INT center and an international hub for high-caliber talent. Therefore, the Liberal Party agrees that we need to complete our VPAD system to cultivate international talent. The Vocational Training Council, as well as relevant organizations, help promote VPET in Hong Kong. The curriculum emphasizes internship at enterprises, so students in general can acquire the relevant skills they need, and over 90% of the graduates manage to secure a job after they complete the program. However, there are still biased views of these programs, and parents and students in general opt for traditional degree programs. For those who do not manage to get into university, they select sub-degree programs. And this affects the positioning and development of VPET. In recent years, the government has rolled out a number of measures. For example, it promotes the establishment of UAS, University of Applied Sciences. St. Francis University and Metropolitan University provide programs that combine theory and practice. These programs attract non-local students to come and study, and we want them to stay here to work in Hong Kong. We should explore mutual recognition of qualifications. All these measures help enhance the level of recognition of our VPET programs. However, we need a clear positioning of VPET programs. Take catering industry as an example. To tackle the manpower crunch and to cope with risks like rising operating costs, we need to go digital. The use of AI can help the catering industry transform and upgrade itself. Some eateries and restaurants have introduced automation technologies such as online ordering system to enhance visitors' experience and to boost efficiency. However, we still need relevant talent. The existing catering programs focus on culinary studies, food science, and management. And there is a lack of digitalization and use of AI in these programs. We need talent that are equipped with AI knowledge as well as skills required in the catering industry. Catering talent may not know how to use technology to boost efficiency. While innovative technology is going to be the trend, we need to incorporate more AI elements into the relevant programs. Take Germany as an example. It adopts the dual approach, and in Switzerland it adopts the apprenticeship schemes, and in Singapore they have their own system to promote VPET. And in these places, VPET is the major pillar for driving industry development. We need to step up collaboration with mainland and overseas enterprises to provide more internship opportunities. We need our VPET programs to better address the needs of our market. We need enterprises to help design our curriculum, and we need to provide training for our teachers. And starting from junior and senior secondary level, we need to prepare our students for these. In order to cultivate talent with a global vision, the government should make use of the existing talent admission schemes and attract students from the Belt and Road countries to come study in Hong Kong. We need more programs to open up the perspectives of our students so that we can build ourselves into an international hub for high caliber talent, and that way we can have enough talent to address the needs for the coming 5 years. I so submit thank you. Mr. Chen Pui-kong. We are promoting the restructuring of traditional industries. We are promoting new industrialization as well as high quality development. The government's goal is to ensure that the total cost of R&D can achieve a significant increase in the coming 5 years. I think in order to achieve this, we need to nurture global vocational and professional talents to inject new impetus into the industries. In the 5-year plan consultation paper, the government stresses we need to address the needs for our development. We need to be visionary and we need strategies to enhance applied education. I agree that we need to match our education with the needs of our industry. The National 15 5-year plan supports Hong Kong to build 4 centers and 1 hub. We need to use VPAT to upgrade and transform ourselves. We need to expand AI programs as well as programs that have to do with new energies as well as green transport and low altitude economy. We need to combine theory and practice. Students need actual application scenarios. The Northern Metropolis is our future engine, and we will have the university town in the Northern Metropolis. It is the ideal destination for cultivating vocational talents. The task force of the government visited Germany and Switzerland. Both countries adopt the dual approach, and they integrate their qualifications framework with industry development. Over half of the young people opt for VPAT every year, and they see a low unemployment rate among their young people. There will be the university town in Hon Ken LEE in Hong Kong, so it is a place for us to build an international hub for talent. The government can, through tax incentives as well as dedicated funds, encourage INT enterprises, large-scale organizations in the Northern Metropolis to collaborate with each other so that we can build a talent hub there. We can learn from Singapore. We can use AI enterprises as well as enterprises engaged in semiconductors to help design curriculum and courses so that students can acquire skills while they study at schools. To cultivate vocational and professional talents, on one hand, we need to step up mutual recognition of qualifications with other places. We should leverage our strengths as we are closely connected to the world and our country. We need to expand the mutual recognition framework so that when students graduate from programs in Hong Kong, they can get the qualification in other places as well. On the other hand, we need to actively promote the study in Hong Kong brand and attract more non-local students to come and study. The government allows self-financing institutions to admit non-local students, and the cap has increased by 50%. It has also rolled out schemes to attract non-local graduates to stay in Hong Kong. Moving forward, we should continue to attract outstanding talent and students from various places to come and study in Hong Kong. In terms of the design of the curriculum and programs, we should incorporate internship opportunities into the programs to cultivate cross-cultural talent with communication skills. We need talent that meet the needs of the global market. I so submit I speak in support of the motion and the amendments. Mr. Chu Lap Wai. I speak in support of Mr. Jimmy NG's motions as well as other amendments. The outline of the National 15 5-year plan supports Hong Kong in developing into an international INT center and an international hub for high-caliber talent. The Hong Kong government is working on the first 5-year plan for Hong Kong. When we talk about talent, we talk about University of Applied Sciences as well as applied degree programs. These are important, but we can look further ahead. We should start from secondary school level. If students can identify their interests and level of competence at an early stage, that would be helpful. Otherwise, if they wait until they get to post-secondary level, that would take them a lot of effort. According to the 2023 manpower projection, we will be 180,000 short in terms of manpower, especially skilled workers. Will be 60,000 skilled workers short. We need talent with applied knowledge and skills. However, these talents will not come out of the blue. We need to strengthen our foundational and basic education. We can look at the practices in other places. Some members mentioned Germany. The free education is provided to those that are aged 18. Students can, among the 300 certificate programs, pick the occupation they like. They can work as an apprentice for 3 years. Within the 3 years, they spend 70% of their time on theory, and for the rest of the time, they engage in internship. And that would allow students to acquire the skills they need. In Singapore, they have vocational institutes that form part of the VPAT pathway. Students at the secondary school level can be exposed to industry practices, and after they complete the programs, they get the certificates they need. In Hong Kong, VPAT is rather weak. There are limited options in terms of applied subjects. Students have little knowledge about INT. We have new education diploma program, but that is mostly offered to those who have reached secondary 6 level. There are people who are of the view that VPAT is not in par as other education degree programs. And I have the following suggestions. First, the Education Bureau should work with the ITIB. They should implement some pilot schemes in secondary schools. They should come up with INT experiential program. They should incorporate AI modules, new industrialization modules, into junior secondary as well as senior secondary curriculum, so that students have the flexibility to change their pathways if they want to. We should also establish an articulation mechanism between secondary schools as well as UAS. Resources should be channeled to secondary schools so that students can be given a better articulation pathway. Also, we should regularly review students' pathway so that we can ensure students can move up the progression ladder. We need to review the use of resources at the same time. Cultivating talent is a long-term effort. We need to allow young people to opt for a different direction. That way, we can have continuous supply of talent to support the INT as well as new industrialization sectors.
Ms. Nixie Lam, thank you. I speak in support of Mr. Jimmy NG's original motion. Our country expresses support for Hong Kong to become an international INT center and an international hub for high-caliber talent. In the public consultation for the first 5-year plan for Hong Kong, INT and industrial development constitute an important portion. So when it comes to developing INT, we need to resolve structural problems. Now, at the highest level, we have R&D personnel. At the middle level, we have applied technology. However, we do not have the supporting VPAT professionals. And that would affect how the outcomes are implemented. And it is said that we can excel in every profession, but then there is still this stigma that VPAT does not fare as well as academic pursuits. It's a fallback plan. But around the world, there is now a major reform. With the prevalence of INT, people now turn to VPAT. There is a keen demand from the global market. Now, we are supported by our country, and we should nurture internationalized VPAT talent. And the Greater Bay Area also has a very advanced INT industrial chain and advanced industrial parks. This is our hinterland, and there is room for development. For Hong Kong, we should collaborate in depth with institutions in the Greater Bay Area and top-notch I&T enterprises so as to run courses together for our students to take up internship opportunities in the Greater Bay Area so that they can feel the pace of development of our country and acquire practical skills required by the market. We have internationally recognized institutions and multinational corporations in Hong Kong. Now, we need to groom talents not only to meet the local market, but to help us get an edge in the global competition in terms of international recognition of qualifications, how students apply their knowledge, etc. All these should be the necessary skills. In fact, for VPAT system, we have made some achievements. In 2024, the Alliance of UASs was set up, comprising 4 tertiary institutions. There are also enterprises, chambers of commerce, and sector associations providing support. There are 80 institutions or so, but so far I haven't heard any progress or plans being implemented by the Alliance. The I&T sector should collaborate at a deeper level with it. For example, Science Park and Cyberport, and also the Hong Kong Park at the Loop. In terms of the design of curriculum and guidance for students, they can also provide help so that practical internship opportunities can be provided for students to learn the latest market trend. Institutions should adjust their programs and courses in light of the needs of society. For example, there should be new elements of AI, green tech, smart production, and other emerging industries. We should also be more proactive in addressing the stigma in society against VPAT. The government should enhance publicity in public education. In order to meet the needs of I&T sector, the government should explain with the successful examples the merits of VPAT and the success stories of IT, so that people can understand that if you have a professional skill after taking VPAT courses, you will still be able to achieve success. It's not just academic pursuit. The government should provide a better articulation pathway because young people feel that their prospects are limited. You should improve the situation to make sure that there is upward mobility. President, when it comes to development and grooming of talents, we need to improve VPAT system so that young people can have more opportunities of development so as to address the manpower gap, and that way we can improve industrial development. I so submit. Ms. Grace Chan, this is not an ordinary motion that we're discussing now. This is very crucial for us to break new grounds in the coming 5 years. I thank Mr. Jimmy NG for moving the original motion. He is forward-looking, and this is a timely motion. When it comes to VPAT, we're talking about applied talents of applied knowledge and skills, combining professional theories and practical skills. But when it comes to the welfare sector, we need to have in-depth integration or collaboration among industries, academic sector, and R&D. We have 5 top 100 universities in Hong Kong. We are very good at R&D. However, I&T expenditure only accounted for 1.6%, and this is a gap. And that's because of the structural gap between education and industries. When it comes to I&T and industries, we don't need experts to tell us theories. Instead, we need talents who are equipped with practical skills and knowledge, applied knowledge. So VPAT is not the second choice. We need to be forward-looking. We should start training before anyone loses their job. That means we should look ahead in a 5-year horizon what kind of talents we need, and we need to start grooming them now. And this is actually the common thinking adopted by many members today. A joint effort is required. The second point is about the 15th five-year plan. Now, our country supports aerospace engineering, low-altitude economy, and smart robots, these are the emerging industries, and these are the areas where we can groom VPAT talents. The 15th five-year plan should be adopted for our government to draw up a list for the courses to be operated, so that in light of the country's overall plan, we can groom the necessary talents. For the welfare sector, we don't just discuss what happens within the sector. We will, for example, discuss the academic progression pathways, and that there should be articulation pathways linking the diploma for secondary education, VPAT diploma, high diploma, sub-degree, undergraduate, or even master's degree, doctoral degrees, etc., so that there is a clear pathway for young people to move upward, so that they see a future and that they will be motivated. Like Mr. Perry said, in fact, one of the organizations already promulgated a blueprint. The government should consider it carefully. And members also talked about collaboration between universities and enterprises. And we also talked about the dual-track approach. And in fact, this will allow graduates a seamless transition after they graduate. They'll be able to get a job. So I urge the government to make use of Sentin Technopole or the Loop as the testing ground. And that the first batch of tailor-made INT VPAT talents can be groomed. Mr. Chan Pui-kong referred to the first hire then train approach. Again, this is clearly targeting a career ladder, because for a long time we have been emphasizing academic pursuits. We should enhance publicity, and we should start from the system at a macro level. The foundation of a stable financial system is the real economy, and INT is a new growth point for the future of Hong Kong. VPAT is also one of the growth points. So I'm talking about blood transfusion. If the financial system is the heart of Hong Kong, then INT will be the muscles, and grooming talents will be the skeleton for muscles to be attached to. So in order to develop fintech, etc., and go global, we need to have regard to that. There is a clear goal, as mentioned in the motion, Mr. Wun-kit's amendment. We need a timetable, and I agree with other members that when we talk about technology, we're talking about talents for the future as well. I support the original motion and the 3 amendments. Mr. Peter Shiu. Thank you, President. I support Mr. Jimmy NG's motion on nurturing internationalized vocational and professional talents to drive innovation and technology development. Innovation and technology forms the driving force of Hong Kong's future development. That is why we are placing so much emphasis with so much resources put in. Our country is now a very strong nation because of a decade's hard work on promoting INT development. However, we need talent to support this development. In fact, I've received calls from friends. My friends ask about summer internship opportunities for their children. Well, in fact, the number is in abundance. We have a lot of young people who do very well. But say, in terms of a subject, sometimes matching isn't easy. In the past 2 years, because of government policy, we imported 100,000, 200,000 workers into Hong Kong. And then when these friends from the mainland come, and they are actually elites, and they tell me that it's not easy to actually find a job in Hong Kong, even if they're in the INT sector. So it seems easy to get a job, but not so easy. We're in a period of transition. And in order to have a smooth transition, I think we need to work on a number of things. For example, job referrals. there is a need for INT talents, and we need to spell out exactly what we need, and I'll help you refer candidates. Next, education. VTC. There are also 2 universities of applied sciences. They're trying to match the courses they run to the needs of industries. We need to make sure that after studying these programs, upon graduation, students will be able to apply their skills and secure a job. The other point is AI. Well, that's the cause of job losses. In the past, you might hire somebody to help type up a letter and help do research, but now all these tasks can be done by AI. And I think the situation will just get worse. So when it comes to designing training programs, you need to be forward-looking. So for these institutions, they need to look ahead to avoid mismatch. Mr. Jimmy NG refers to accelerating new industrialization. I support that. But I think when it comes to VPAT professionals, it's not limited to new industrialization. Ms. Nixie Lam refers to testing and certification. Hong Kong is an international city. We have our own competitive edge. For example, we can draw up standards that meet the mainland standards as well as overseas standards. And this can help promote testing and certification in Hong Kong. And for other training institutions such as HKMU and SFU, they should be forward-looking, and that means the Education Bureau should help them as well. And the ITIB should help them plan ahead. I was telling Mr. Jonathan Leung that I was not able to, I have people waiting for job offers, and then Mr. Leung told me, why not recommend these to me, because I'm not able to hire restaurant workers, waiters, etc. But these are jobs shunned by fresh graduates from universities, and that's the reality. There is a manpower gap. The youth unemployment rate is on the high side. So I think we should follow the major directions.
Mr. Chen Yong. Thank you, Deputy President. Thank you, Secretary Mr. Cresson, and the Undersecretary for Education for being here today. I speak in support of Mr. Jimmy Ng's original motion and the amendments proposed by other members. We need to make sure to nurture internationalized vocational and professional talents for the high-quality development of INT. And in fact, the country emphasizes this as well. President Xi talked about expediting the construction of a modern VPAT system to nurture craftsmen. And we know whether it is white, gold, or blue color, it can lead to success still with these different pathways. And the National 15 5-year plan emphasizes the construction and development of a modern VPAT system, and it explicitly supports Hong Kong in its development as an international INT hub and international hub for high-caliber talents. The chief executive also actively promotes VPAT along with traditional academic pathways. In our very first class in universities, the professor would often tell us, if you can find a job you love, you'll be very happy and you're likely to be successful. As long as you're interested in something, you do well. And we have recently a motorcycle brand from the country ranking top in the world. It is because the owner is so interested in motorcycles, and he has essentially become top in the blue-collar world. I think we should learn from this experience. The deputy president went with us, the other NPC deputies, to CHEUNG, our new area. We have met quite a number of youngsters. They were able to develop their interests early on and work in the specific areas. We have in Hong Kong who are talented not just in finance or the traditional industries. What is important is that the government provides support, just like Beijing. And the RTIB and Education Bureau should be the authorities providing support so that students can make good use of their skills. We want there to be change in society. We need to have a greater emphasis on skills, especially applied skills. As those who are very wise would say, what's right for you is the right profession. And I think in this regard, we need to have more support in the budget. In last year's budget and policy measures, we talked about having smart production lines in Hong Kong. We need to make sure to also explore long-term development options in new industrialization. We actually have some support schemes under the ITIB for this purpose. And in fact, we talked about CATL earlier. President Xi was an official of Fujian province before, when it was at its poorest, and now it became the place that nurtured the company CATL. I think we should learn from this experience. If we do more, we can expedite development in INT and nurture highly technical talents for the country. Thank you. Dr. Simon Lee. I would like to thank Mr. Jimmy NG for proposing the important motion today. Internationalized VPAT is key to competitiveness, and with the upgrading and transformation of industries, we have a great demand of technical talents. In 2024, employment in the INT sector only accounts for 1.6% of the total working population in the city. I think there is much room for improvement. We need to promote internationalization of VPAT. I think there are several things we can do. We need to have a comprehensive study letter. VPAT has always been underestimated. To change this, we need to make sure to provide different level programs, higher diploma, associate programs in VPAT, to have a study letter. In the 2025 policy address, it talks about enhancing VPAT to university status to provide more options for youngsters who are keen to develop in the professions. And we have an alliance of universities of applied sciences that are looking to work with top-notch polytechnics in the Guangdong province. And we should try to deepen cooperation in this regard to have more youngsters undertake VPAT. We also need to deepen integration between the research sector, academia, as well as the business sector. We need to encourage UAS's work to work together with mainland and overseas enterprises. We should also have the VTC Productivity Council and other associations help in arranging for internship and employment opportunities for students. We also need to make sure curricula are updated to incorporate the newest elements such as AI into their courses so as to work with the industry to nurture youngsters that can help with transformation and upgrading of the industries. Hong Kong has a unique advantage of connecting the country and different parts of the world. We should actively develop the international education market. We should enhance FEPAS. We also need to make sure to align Hong Kong's qualifications framework with international standards to enhance international recognition. We should also leverage on our role as a super connector to have education cooperation within the Greater Bay Area and form a governance structure that has in-depth participation of institutions and enterprises. And in fact, we already did this for training of aviation talent. We also need to try to attract international talents, enrich our sources for talent. We should try to attract more students from ASEAN countries, Middle East, as well as Belt and Road countries to study applied sciences in Hong Kong and to provide for local students more international internship and exchange opportunities. In fact, FEPAS has already attracted 600 non-local students from the mainland, Canada, India, Indonesia, and Malaysia to study in Hong Kong. I believe with a vibrant culture, it can be attractive to students. And when I worked for the Guizhou government, they have a polytechnic dealing with phosphates, and it has achieved great success. It has nurtured talents that the industry needs, and graduates are able to find jobs quickly. I think we need to make sure we form a chain, and it is only with concerted efforts of different sectors that we can form this chain, and we can achieve great success with this. Thank you. Mr. Nick Chen. The global technological revolution is happening rapidly. Hong Kong needs to actively dovetail and implement the country's 15 five-year plan and develop into an international INT hub and international hub for high-caliber talents. We need to nurture composite talent. We should make good use of our experience in international qualification recognition and make sure to dovetail with the developments of emerging and future industries. The digital economy in the world already accounts for 15% of the GDP, and Hong Kong is rising in the digital competitiveness rankings. We are ranked fourth, or we're ranked the 15th in Global Innovation Index. But we still have a manpower gap in skilled workers. We need to make clear what our goals are. We need to make sure to match what the market needs. Let me share with you some personal observations on the importance of composite talent. We need to expedite the development of international INT hub. We will need talent who are familiar with rules in different jurisdictions, who are familiar with knowledge in law, finance, and technology. Apart from professional knowledge, the talent should also possess knowledge in big data, data science, data governance, cross-boundary data privacy, IP, ethics, as well as compliance. This is how we can enhance international competitiveness. Let me now talk about the relationship between professional education and new industrialization. We need talent that can resolve pain points in the market. To nurture such talents, we need to have reforms in VPAT. VPAT has to be dynamic, and we should have lifelong learning of VPAT. We need to make good use of big data so that people can find their paths. In terms of courses, we need to make sure to have it deeply integrated with emerging industries so that it would not lag behind the market. We also need to make good use of our experience in promulgating the qualifications framework to make sure it aligns with international standards so that we have students from different parts of the world come to Hong Kong for VPAT. We should also deepen collaboration with the Greater Bay Area and Belt and Road countries. We should have mutual recognition of qualifications with the different countries. In order to become an international hub for high caliber talents, Hong Kong must do several things. One, we should have an international collaboration platform with mainland and overseas R&D institutions and promulgate AI ethical standards as well as standards for research trials. We should also have collaboration between the research sector, the academia, the industry, and make sure there are different application scenarios for their research outcomes. We also need to set goals for transformation of outcomes and enhancements in legislation. We have our unique advantages. We practice the common law. We are a financial center. We should make good use of knowledge and technology and have reforms in VPAT to enhance our international competitiveness. Thank you, President. I speak in support of original motion and amendments.
Mr. Ken Wong, Deputy President, we're at a critical juncture of restructuring ourselves. We're seeing a shift in global landscape. Technology develops rapidly, and places around the world have been competing for talent. The Hong Kong government in recent years have been promoting VPAT as well as new industrialization. In order to make these policies effective, we need to address the pain point. I would like to propose targeted measures so that Hong Kong could play a greater role in the national 15 five-year plan period. Currently, we focus on academic performance rather than vocational training. In order to change the culture, we need to promote VPAT starting from primary school level so that students can be exposed to knowledge of various industries. Students, if they are exposed to various knowledge, they can explore their interests and occupational path. We should deepen collaboration between schools as well as enterprises. We should let enterprises take part in the design of curriculum to address the needs of industries. We have the qualifications framework in place for years. We can enhance its international recognition. Currently, in the private sector, the role of QF is not significant. The government should not only encourage people to take part in QF-related programs. The government can provide incentives to private enterprises. For example, employers that subsidize their workers to complete level 4 of QF-related programs can get a tax deduction. We should expand the qualifications framework to various industries, especially the emerging ones. Third, we need to cultivate internationalized vocational and professional talents, and that's key to building ourselves into a talent hub. We should step up mutual recognition of qualifications. We should sign cooperation agreements with international organizations to promote the level of recognition of our VPAT system so that we can dovetail with the world and to ensure talent mobility. We should also set up a database for VPAT talent. We should track talent movement and development. We need to provide training to cultivate talent. We need to grasp the movement and development of talent to ensure that we can refine our policies and to ensure competitiveness of our talent. On promoting new industrialization, we should speedily develop the Northern Metropolis and the Santine Technopole. The focus should be on addressing the mismatch between industry needs and talent. We can set up an industry park and attract enterprises engaged in new industrialization to establish presence there. We need to develop infrastructure and we need the relevant support measures. We should provide training to the working population so that there won't be a structural unemployment problem because of the restructuring of industries. Talent is the cornerstone, and we need to internationalize our qualifications framework. We need to expand our perspectives and horizons. We need further room for development. If we work towards these directions, we will be able to grasp the opportunities and enhance our advantages and strengths. That way, we'll be able to give better play to our role. This is a shared responsibility of all of us. I so submit. I speak in support of the motion. Mr. Rock Chen, Deputy President, I declare that I am the chairman of the HKVAAQ. There is a serious shortage of talent. By 2028, will be short of 180,000 to 230,000 skilled workers. Talent promotes INT development, and it is also the core of industry development. In the outline of the National 15 5-year plan, our country supports us to develop ourselves into an international INT center and an international hub for high-caliber talent. Therefore, the government should promote VPAT and cultivate more talent with a global vision. I have the following 3 suggestions. First, we need to elevate the status of VPAT. We need to break away from the traditional mindset of focusing on humanistic and cultural subjects. VPAT was always the secondary option. The government should make good use of the UAS alliance. The alliance should educate parents and students on VPAT and tell them that students opt for VPAT not because they cannot do well academically. Instead, they can have a better career pathway by choosing VPAT. Also, the UAS alliance should establish a mechanism. Internally, we should learn from Finland and Denmark to establish a mutual recognition system with University of Applied Sciences in other places. As for subjects that incorporate theory, there should be a flexible system and allow students to gain credits flexibly. Externally, we need to step up exchanges and collaboration with top-tier VPAT institutes in the mainland and overseas to enhance the level of recognition of our VPAT institute so that VPAT can become a mainstream option here. Second, we need to integrate and consolidate our collaboration mechanism. VPAT institutes should not work alone. Instead, they should deepen collaboration with industries. Currently, a lot of the institute enterprise collaboration is very shallow. There's not enough participation by enterprises. The government should line up local institutes as well as leading enterprises to help them build partnership so that they can together establish internship and training bases. They should not simply take in interns. Instead, they should take up the responsibility to help nurture talent. Institutes should invite industry experts to join advisory committees so that these experts can participate in designing curriculum, and we can incorporate international standards into the design of curriculum. We should break away from traditional framework and models. We should focus on pharmaceutical and biomedicine, AI computing, and other areas so that we can transform these into actual skills. Institutes will be responsible for teaching theories, and enterprises will focus on providing working environments and internship opportunities for students, and they will help shoulder part of the costs. Students, while pursuing studies, they will serve as a student and an intern. They will accumulate work experience and study at the same time. Third, we need to deepen mutual recognition of professional qualifications with the GBA. INT sectors and new industrialization-related industries see the greatest manpower shortage. By enhancing the mutual recognition system in these areas, we can give full play to our role as a super connector and a super value adder, and we can also provide talent for the development of these industries. I so submit. I speak in support of the motion. Professor William Wong. The outline of the National 15 Five-Year Plan supports Hong Kong in developing into an international INT center. To achieve this vision, we do not only need top-tier scientific talent, we need mid-level professional talent with skills and experience. We need this technical personnel in order to drive industry growth. INT talent is a highly internationalized industry. Industry practitioners need a global vision as well as ability to conduct cross-cultural exchanges. It is only with these talents that we can drive the growth of INT industry. I have the following suggestions. First, we need to step up support for grassroots students. Grassroots families are rarely exposed to tech products, and they are often marginalized in the digital and AI era. We do not want to only benefit a small fraction of people and expand or widen the digital divide. Therefore, we need to provide grassroots students with knowledge on operating AI tools. We should also set up digital workshops for students so that they can be exposed to AI tools that are commonly used in workplaces. We should enable them to acquire engineering knowledge and enhance their digital literacy so that they can find their place in the future INT sector. Also, we need to address the needs of the market. We should have UAS as well as the VTC take the lead to develop AI industry-related micro-credential programs. We should enhance students' ability to use AI. We should enhance their hands-on experience. And the AI micro-credential program should be incorporated in the qualifications framework. These certificate programs should enable students to quickly grasp the skills they need. And for those who are unemployed and young people who want to upskill themselves, these certificate programs would be helpful. There should be matching services for the relevant industries so that they get the talent they need. Also, we need to step up language training for VPAT talent. Some may think that AI translation tools are very advanced and that we do not need to have a high language competency. However, AI translation tools cannot replace real person-to-person communication. If we want the trust of enterprises and other countries, we have to understand their language, their ritual, their religion, as well as culture. And we cannot rely on AI translation tools for these. Therefore, our training programs should help step up people's language and cultural knowledge so that students and trainees will not only be equipped with technical skills, but also display their ability to facilitate cross-cultural communication, and that will become our unique competitiveness. We should actively build a skill-oriented and low-threshold VPAT system. And the system should be part of our first 5-year plan. This system can provide a multi-layered talent supply system for us. This will not only boost the competitiveness of our INT sector, but also allow us to contribute to the high-quality development of our country. I so submit I speak in support of the motion and the amendments.
Mr. Robert Lee. Thank you, President. With diversified development of the financial market together with the emergence of the different fields of INT sectors such as advanced manufacturing, aerospace, engineering, robots, AI, there is a keen demand for skilled talents. I support the original motion on nurturing internationalized vocational and professional talents to drive INT development. In recent years, we have AI-related enterprises getting listed in Hong Kong, including Minimax, that's called one of the 6 tigers in the mainland, and the other company, because of the recent US ISO IPO activities, it shows that there is a great potential when it comes to INT and its integration in the capital market. There is a very keen demand for financial services, and it goes far beyond the traditional arena. In the future, we need talents at the frontier who are familiar with financial services as well as IT. They should be equipped with multiple skills such as valuation of the IP, as well as supply chain risk management and data processing, etc. As far as VPAT in Hong Kong is concerned, we need to equip the in-service practitioners with the latest skills as well as part of their continuing education. Now, over 60% of enterprises express in a survey that in the coming 3 years, with the introduction of AI and automated technologies, they will be recruiting fewer junior staff, and I have the following suggestions. Promoting alignment between VPAT training and planning for Hong Kong. That means VPAT training should be included in the Hong Kong's 5-year plan, which dovetails with the country's 15th 5-year plan. Hong Kong enjoys an edge in our financial market. We're able to attract INT enterprises to set up presence here. The government, therefore, should enhance training for financial talents. This can be done through collaboration with the professional institutions, trade associations, such as HKSI and other organizations. We can jointly design courses with practical internship opportunities for students to learn about different occupations in order to complete their life planning. And for I&T firms, we can have elements of AI, aerospace engineering, smart production, biotechnologies in the foundation courses so that students will understand better the mode of operation of these enterprises and the financing needs. And the sector has also reflected to me that there's a shortage of manpower on crypto assets and digital assets. Similar courses should be provided. There should be incentives to encourage more enterprises to join the training efforts. And we should also improve the qualifications framework. On a regular basis, the government should review the QF and explore widening the scope of mutual recognition of professional qualifications with the mainland. For example, we should leverage on the Greater Bay Area and the financial ecosystem there so that students can have a broader pathway. Finally, we need to enhance the profile of VPAT in Hong Kong. Our country's 15th five-year plan promotes the setting up of a modernized VPAT system, and in terms of quality and its appeal, there should be enhancement. Likewise, our government should take the lead in enhancing publicity and provide more resources to support the development of institutions. The government should conduct a study on how AI impacts on the labor market in Hong Kong so that institutions can have a better understanding of the market's needs and that flexible courses can be designed to meet the needs of the sectors. I support the motion and so submit. Mr. Gary Chen. President, we are experiencing sweeping reform when it comes to I&T in the world, and there are major changes in our society and our economy as well. Our country's 15th five-year plan supports Hong Kong in developing into an international I&T center. The SAR government also puts forward our latest direction, and that is to accelerate new industrialization. At this critical point, we need to develop VPAT in support of the development of emerging industries. I'd like to share my insight. First, it starts with people's awareness. Now, in the past, we thought that after we graduated from university, we'll be able to have very good prospects and we'll be able to make a lot of money. And that if you take up a profession, take up a trade and acquire a skill, it would be the second choice. But in fact, it's this kind of thinking is out of date in the age of AI. Like Mr. Jensen Wang said, who is a famous entrepreneur in the U.S. Silicon Valley, if you're able to if you have a skill that requires the use of your hands, for example, you will be able to get a very good pay, and that's totally different from our traditional thinking, because word processing and analysis, these tasks are now taken up by AI, and we need people with actual physical skills to do some certain jobs that cannot be replaced by AI. So in light of this trend, the SAR government should take note of the technological changes so as to help our society adopt a new thinking. When it comes to construction workers in the future, they will no longer be regarded as the traditional blue-collar class. These workers will be equipped with skills on applying AI and automated robotic technologies. The second point is that in the original motion and one of the amendments, there is a suggestion of the first hire then train model. Now, we followed the Chief Secretary to Germany on a visit about the dual-track training system. This is what Germany is famous for, and it's well-renowned. First hire then trained approach forms the core of their training efforts. The government should follow suit, and we should invite top-notch enterprises in the Greater Bay Area to collaborate with institutions in Hong Kong so as to draw up courses and standards for grooming talents so that our talents will be able to apply their skills in these enterprises. Lastly, I'd like to talk about the content of the courses. We need to catch up with the times because things are changing, be it new energy, equipment, advanced manufacturing, smart healthcare, robotics. We need not only tech professionals, we also need highly skilled workers to do the job, and this is where VPAT comes in. The government should make sure that the VPAT courses are tailor-made to meet the needs of industries so that we can nurture VPAT talents. VPAT is not the second choice or the fallback plan. This is an important aspect of Hong Kong's efforts in accelerating new industrialization. This will provide a broader and brighter pathway for our young people as well. I so submit I support the motion and the amendments. Mr. Lau Kar-Kang. Thank you, President. I thank Mr. Jimmy for the motion and 3 members for the amendments. The Chief Secretary earlier led a delegation to Germany to inspect the post-secondary education in Germany, as well as manpower training to meet the market's needs. Our country's 15th five-year plan also encourages enterprises to provide greater support to apprenticeship training courses. Now, the government has started a public consultation exercise on its first 5-year plan. In the consultation document, there is an express support for nurturing VPAT talents. So in light of that, we need to quicken our pace to meet the needs of INT development. And I have the following suggestions. We should take a more precise approach when it comes to training and employment. In the mainland, in 2025, a project was rolled out combining 4 aspects, that is jobs, training of skills, and also job matching service and assessment of skills. In a more targeted manner, the apprentices receive training of skills to meet the needs of enterprises. So drawing on this experience, enterprises will be able to launch dedicated training for the staff, and then the staff could work and acquire the professional qualifications whilst on the job. The government should introduce such a mechanism using Northern Metropolis as the testing ground so as to groom dedicated talents for top-notch enterprises in emerging industries in the Northern Metropolis. The second suggestion is to enhance or broaden the scope of mutual recognition of qualifications in the Greater Bay Area to promote the flow of talents. This is cornerstone to high-quality development in the Greater Bay Area. In the past few years, through CEPA, we have introduced mutual recognition of such qualifications, and by the end of 2025, over 5,000 individuals have acquired such certificates. However, there are some traditional service industries such as the beauty industry, hairdressing, INT, etc., and it's still at the starting stage. The government should discuss with the mainland authorities and widen the scope of mutual recognition so that more VPAT personnel in Hong Kong can benefit from the one examination multiple certificates or permits mechanism. And this can help enhance the flow of talents and acceptance of talents in both places. The third suggestion is to adopt a dual-track approach for apprentices in order to nurture international talents. We have 2 universities of applied sciences, but to take forward new industrialization, we need land for manufacturing bases. We're limited by the industrial application scenarios in Hong Kong. We have the backing of our country. We're closely connected to the world. We need to groom high-tech VPAT talents with global vision. And we need to unleash the potential of the universities of applied sciences as well. So the dual-track approach should be adopted. In the first phase, the universities of applied sciences in Hong Kong can collaborate with VPAT institutions on new industrialization. And the second phase, we can allow students to practice as interns in top-notch mainland enterprises. I so submit I support the motion and the amendments. Mr. Jimmy NG, you can now speak on the amendments. I thank 3 members for moving amendments for enriching my original motion. Mr. Ken Lee's amendment refers to collaboration between the industries and the academic sector to enhance the nurturing of talents. There should be a strengthened linkage between VPAT and industry so as to improve the employability, promotionability, and cross-border mobility of VPAT talents. I fully agree. I always support the sector in collaborating closely with the academic sector to groom talents. The BPA is concerned about the linkage because the prerequisite is to have seamless connection between education and industries. Only when we have that, we will be able to commercialize the R&D outcomes. Mr. Pui-kong urges the government to make timely adjustments to the content of VPAT courses. Again, I am all for that. When I spoke just now, I said that we should have regard to the local circumstances and the latest development in starting new subjects. And I emphasize once again that if we are to run a new course, we need to make sure that it dovetails with the strategic development of our country. The amendment is the other point of the amendment is about the training ladder and the first hire then train approach, and this is definitely a good idea. Mr. Wun-kit refers to an internationally recognized articulation and accreditation mechanisms for VPAT qualifications and promote the mutual recognition of professional qualifications between Hong Kong and the Greater Bay Area. This is also coming from the BPA. I'm in strong support for that.
Undersecretary for Education. I thank Mr. Jimmy NG for the motion and Mr. Ken Lee, Mr. Pui-kong, and Mr. Wun-kit for the amendments. I thank the 43 members for their valuable views. They provided views on how the government can step up its policies to strengthen international talent cultivation. In response to the outline of the National 15 Five-Year Plan, we drive the integrated development of education, technology, and talent. The Education Bureau has been adopting the strategy of fostering industry-institution collaboration and diversified development. We provide diverse pathways for young people and nurture applied talents who have a global vision to promote new industrialization. We want to cultivate talent with applied knowledge to support the development of the industry. To elevate the status of VPAT, the Education Bureau promote the establishment of University of Applied Sciences as well as relevant applied degree programs. We also set up the UAS Alliance. Currently, there are 2 universities of applied sciences and 2 institutions moving their way to becoming an UAS. Through collaboration with industry, institutions participate with industries in designing curriculum. It promotes the transformation of R&D outcomes as well as the upgrading and transformation. It helps promote regional economic growth. The VCT is the largest talent cultivation base in Hong Kong. Every year, it provides over 200 full-time programs, serving over 40,000 students. To make sure that the programs move with the times, the Education Bureau as well as the VTC has maintained close communication with the industry. The 25 training boards under the VTC focus on different industry and sectors, comprising over 400 industry practitioners. In response to local and international trends, these industry practitioners provide advice on VTC's curriculum planning, design, and quality assurance to meet regional and global manpower needs. To support new industrialization and INT development, the VTC has deployed comprehensive strategies. In the area of IT training, the Hong Kong Institute of Information Technology under the VTC offers a curriculum that closely follows global technology trends. Its programs cover cybersecurity, AI, software engineering, game software development, cloud systems and data center management, as well as data science and predictive analytics. The Institute is planning to establish a low-altitude economy lab and a drone flight training ground to respond to the development needs of the low-altitude economy. On cultivating global vocational talent, the VTC has been building relevant platforms to conduct academic exchanges, co-organize courses, facilitate student internships, and design academic progression pathways alongside overseas and mainland institutions. The VTC ensures its curriculum design and teaching content align with international standards. For example, its Diploma of Vocational Baccalaureate program is widely recognized around the world. Students can enroll in courses based on their interests and acquire knowledge and skills that align with international needs. To support the development of the GBA, the VTC strengthens cooperation within the region and established an operational center in Shenzhen, forging partnerships with 50 institutions and organizations. The VTC supports student participation in exchange programs in the mainland. It has arranged for students to participate in internship programs to enrich students' experience and learning outcomes. The National 15 Five-Year Plan supports Hong Kong's development into an international INT hub and a hub for high-caliber talent. I thank members for their valuable views again. I look forward to working hand in hand with various sectors of society. We want to make full use of Hong Kong's unique advantages given our connectivity with the mainland and the world. We'll continue to cultivate international talent that meets industry needs and to promote economic growth. I so submit. Thank you.
Secretary for Innovation, Technology and Industry. President, I would like to thank Mr. Jimmy again for proposing the important motion today. I would also like to thank Mr. Wun-kit, Mr. Ken LEE, and Mr. CHEUNG Pui-kong for proposing amendments, as well as 39 other members for putting forward their valuable views. The Undersecretary for Education has just given a response relating to the work under the purview of the Education Bureau. I'm now going to provide a consolidated response regarding the development of INT. The country's 15 five-year plan places innovation and technology at the heart of its overall development strategy, citing significantly enhancing the level of self-reliance in science and technology as one of the primary objectives of socio-economic development. It also sets out 3 strategic tasks, including building a modern industrial system, accelerating high-level scientific and technological self-reliance, and further advancing the development of digital China. And the city is preparing its first 5-year plan and has commenced public consultation. We do note that members have raised concerns about how in the next 5 years Hong Kong can actively align with the country's major strategies, refining local INT development landscape and promoting construction of a modern industrial system, etc. We are focusing our efforts on precisely these key areas. The country supports Hong Kong in developing as an international INT hub and international hub for high-caliber talents. We need to actively dovetail with the country's development strategies. Right now, Hong Kong is focusing on the core strategic industries of life and health technology, AI, and robotics, and is actively exploring aerospace technology, marine technology, and quantum technology. Hong Kong has 5 universities ranked among the world's top 100, and right now the inner Hong Kong clusters have formed over 30 centers, and it has pulled together talents from different parts of the world. We are planning to construct the 3rd Inner Hong Kong Research Cluster, which will focus on sustainable development, energy, advanced manufacturing, and materials. 8 centers have already been selected. Preparations for these centers are now in the final stage. We will continue to align closely with the country's strategic needs whilst fully leveraging Hong Kong's strength of being international and internationalized city to further expand the city's international scientific research cooperation network. I believe it will also help create more development opportunities for vocational and professional talents. Many members have raised concerns about the nurturing of INT talents. We have all along been working to expand the local talent pool, and we have supported enterprises and R&D institutions in nurturing talents. Specifically, the Research Talent Hub scheme does support enterprises to recruit relevant talent, and performance targets have been set for the scheme. The total number of research talent appointments approved under the scheme is set to increase from approximately 10,500 in 2022 to 18,500 in 2027. Through the STEM internship scheme, we provide funding for undergraduate and postgraduate students enrolled in full-time STEM programs to undertake short-term internships so that they can gain experience in INT-related work, and it should help cultivate an early interest in pursuing careers in the INT sector. The new industrialization and technology training program under the INT Fund provides funding to local enterprises on a one-to-one matching basis to enable their staff to receive advanced technological training. Some members raised concerns about the developments of the Hong Kong Park of the Loop and the Sentient Technopole. And it is indeed a key priority in our efforts to establish a high-quality development landscape comprising the 3 major INT parks and 5 major R&D institutions. Within the span of 6 months, there were over 90 tech companies establishing their operations. And we already put up the first site for public tender last week. We want to work together with the business sector to expedite the development of the Hong Kong Park. In the tender document, we do encourage to put in place a criterion for creating local job opportunities. Some members said VPAT should actively match the needs of enterprises, and there should be in-depth integration with industries. I do note this, but then without industries, how can VPAT students find their jobs? And I think members' suggestion about having earn and learn arrangements are very good. There is, after all, a bottleneck that is persistent with the development of VPAT. How can we make sure we have proper development of INT to ensure prospects for graduates of VPAT programs? Which is why we are planning in the 5-year plan to promote the construction of a modern industrial system. In the past, through the new industrialization funding scheme as well as the Manufacturing Plus scheme to support the upgrading and transformation of traditional industries, to promote the transformation of R&D outcomes, as well as to support downstream industries development. We are focusing our efforts in particular on emerging and future industries, such as life and health technology, AI and robotics, and advanced manufacturing and new energy, to form a new industrial development system. And this should tie in with good comprehensive development of VPAT. We will actively attract INT enterprises to develop business in Hong Kong, introduce new technologies, and train local talent through these enterprises. So to date, we have supported nearly 700 promising or leading INT enterprises to develop, establish, or expand their business in Hong Kong. Many of these have applied for or have already successfully listed on the Hong Kong Stock Exchange. With an increasing number of enterprises, research institutions, and universities establishing themselves in Hong Kong or setting up R&D bases here, it would provide more development opportunities for talent. The country's AI Plus initiative is key to driving and deepening the all-round development of AI in Hong Kong. We are building an AI ecosystem across multiple dimensions, including governance, infrastructure, R&D, and talent, while vigorously advancing the AI Plus development strategy to promote the extensive and in-depth integration of AI across different sectors to realize the vision of industries for AI, AI for industries. The Committee on AI Plus and Industry Development Strategy has now been successfully established and will hold its first meeting soon. Initially, it will focus on embodied AI and life and health related areas to formulate strategies for AI-driven industrial transformation and development. Some members urge to have regard to the development of AI in reforming VPAT, including enhancing mutual recognition with VPAT institutions in the Greater Bay Area. I believe the relevant bureau will heed this suggestion and explore the different options. Looking ahead, we will continue to respond to international trends, national needs, with reference to local strengths and make plans proactively to drive Hong Kong's high-quality development. We will tap into the opportunities brought about by technological advancements and promote the integrated development of education, technology, and talent, and help talent make greater contributions to the country's development. President, I would like to thank members for expressing their views once again. My team and I will continue to work diligently to attract outstanding INT talent, striving to realize the vision of building an international INT hub. I so submit. Thank you, President.
I now call upon Mr. Ken LEE to move an amendment. President, I move my amendment. I propose to question to you that the amendment moved by Mr. Ken LEE be passed. I now put the question to you as stated. Will members please proceed to vote? Members please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise your hands? Those against, please raise your hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members who are present, that is those returned by election committee and those returned by functional constituencies and geographical constituencies. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Pui-kong, as the previous amendment has been passed, you may move your further amendment. President, I move my further amendment. I now propose to question to you that the further amendment moved by Mr. Pui-kong be passed. I now put the question to you as stated. Will members please proceed to vote? Members please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by a majority of each of the two groups of members present, that is those returned by the EC and those returned by FCs and GCs. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Wun-kit, as the previous amendments have been passed, you may move your further amendment. President, I move my further amendment. I propose to question to you that the further amendment moved by Mr. Wun-kit be passed. I now put the question to you as stated. Will members please proceed to vote? Members please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by the majority of two groups of members present, that is those returned by the election committee and those returned by functional constituencies and geographical constituencies. I declare the amendment passed. Mr. Jimmy NG, you have 1 minute 52 seconds to reply, then the debate will come to a close. Mr. Jimmy NG. Thank you, Chair. I thank the 42 members who have provided their invaluable views, and I thank the secretaries for their responses. The Education Bureau earlier led a delegation to study the integrated development of VPAT as well as academic and industrial collaboration. Now, we need to enhance VPAT and be the super connector. And we need to enhance connectivity outside. We need to bolster what happens inside. The VTC has been collaborating with mainland institutions, and we should strongly support the efforts to provide more internship opportunities here. Then let me conclude by saying the following. We need to develop VPAD so that in every profession we can still excel. I so submit. I urge members to support my motion. I now put the question to you that the motion moved by Mr. Jimmy NG as amended by Mr. Ken LEE, Mr. Pui-kong, Mr. Wun-kit be passed. Will please proceed to vote. Members, please press the present button. Will those in favor please raise their hands? Those against, please raise their hands. I think the question is agreed by the majority of each of the two groups of members present, that is, those returned by the EC and those returned by FCs and GCs. I declare the motion as amended passed. I now adjourn the Council until 11 a.m. on the 24th of June 2026, Wednesday.